Let me be completely upfront with you right from the start. Today's explainer isn't about some textbook exam strategies or abstract motivational theories. Not at all. We are diving into a deeply personal, incredibly raw diary of a working-class UPSC aspirant. As we go through this, it honestly feels like I'm telling my own story, and I think a lot of you will feel the exact same way. We're looking at a true, unfiltered account of immense life pressures, heart-wrenching loss, and the absolute grueling reality of corporate survival. It's a silent, heavy battle so many endure behind closed doors. So let's walk through this powerful journey together. I want you to picture this stark contrast for a second. On one side, you've got a 30-year-old man enduring a punishing, soul-crushing 6-hour daily commute just to hold onto his job while desperately chasing a dream. But if we rewind just a few years, man, at 23, he was riding high. He was pulling in over 1 lakh rupees a month, feeling pretty arrogant, and frankly, looking down on his peers. You really have to ask yourself, how in the world do you go from feeling like you rule the universe to fighting for pure survival on a packed, sweaty metro?
Section 1. Peak to rock bottom.
Is genuinely terrifying how fast everything can just unravel. Back in 2019, he was a B.Tech student with a booming fitness business, literally skipping college placements because he felt on top of the world. And then 2020 hit. COVID completely destroyed his business overnight. We're talking 150 kilograms of expensive imported protein just left rotting. The money totally vanished. To make matters worse, his 6-year relationship ended. Completely devastated, he spiraled into heavy drinking. Within a matter of months, at just 24 years old, the guy looked 32. He had hit absolute rock bottom.
One day, he looked in the mirror and realized he didn't even recognize the person staring back at him. That terrifying wake-up call sent him running back home to his parents in Rohini. Now, you might think he was walking into a storm of anger. He fully expected judgment for his failed business and for skipping those college placements. But instead, his father, a hardworking Delhi government employee, sat him down and offered these exact words. Ups and downs keep coming in life, but don't go down this path. No anger, just pure, unconditional support and a plea to come back to the light. Section 2. A father's final wish.
Buoyed by his family's support, he slowly started piecing his life back together. He brushed up his coding skills and landed a modest work-from-home job in Bangalore, making about 22,000 rupees a month. Things were finally stabilizing, or so it seemed. In January 2023, his father suffered a severe heart attack and had to get stents put in. Just like that, the illusion of permanent stability was shattered, and suddenly, the absolute fragility of life was staring him right in the face.
You know, there was always this massive clash of mindsets between the two of them. Whenever his dad suggested taking a government exam, he would just arrogantly dismiss it. He absolutely hated the word naukri, genuinely believing it meant being a servant. In his mind, he was a businessman, period. But after the heart attack, sitting quietly together, his father practically pleaded with him. He asked him to look past that temporary, flashy corporate money to find true stability and to just finally fill out the UPSC forms.
The very next morning, while having a normal conversation with his mother, his father collapsed from sudden heart failure, and tragically, he passed away. Just think about that. The night before, his father's very last piece of advice was to fill out that UPSC form. In an instant, that unfilled piece of paper transformed from an annoying parental nag into a sacred dying wish. Passing the UPSC wasn't just about getting a career anymore. It had become a deeply profound personal mission.
Section 3. The daily 6-hour grind.
The sheer brutality of his daily schedule is almost unbelievable. He leaves his home in Noida at 7:45 in the morning. He travels for 3 grueling hours, hopping across multiple metro lines, just to reach his software job in Gurgaon. And you want to know when he actually studies? His only uninterrupted study time happens while standing inside a moving, shaky train. He finally gets back home, completely and utterly drained, at 10 p.m. That is 6 hours of daily commuting, every single day.
This right here is exactly why older, working-class aspirants are fighting a completely different war. He isn't some 24-year-old kid living in a cozy Rajendranagar coaching bubble. No, he carries the incredibly heavy backpack of real adult responsibilities. He had to handle all the legal paperwork of his father's passing, emotionally support his grieving mother, navigate the complexities of a new marriage, and deal with toxic corporate bosses, all while desperately trying to study for the toughest exam in the entire country, completely isolated.
It's a crazy reversal of fortune.
Back in 2019, when he was making the big bucks, he actually openly mocked his classmates for accepting 25,000 rupee placements. Today, at 30 years old, those very same peers are pulling in 30 lakhs a year, while he earns vastly less. He had to completely swallow his pride. He accepted lower increments and consciously stepped back from promotions at work, just so he could buy back a little more precious time to study. That takes some serious guts.
Section 4. The Great Coaching Illusion.
So I want to ask you this highly provocative question. Where exactly is the guarantee? These massive coaching institutes promise you the absolute moon during admission time, don't they? They show off these glossy, high-production ads and boldly claim that all the exam questions come straight from their notes. But the exact moment an exam proves difficult or the paper pattern shifts even slightly, poof, they vanish. They either blame the UPSC or, far worse, they actually blame the student for not studying hard enough.
The hard data from his 2026 attempt really exposes the whole thing. Listen to this. Throughout the entire year, he successfully cleared the cutoff in 22 out of 28 full-length mocks at his extremely expensive institute. He was confident, and rightly so. Yet in the actual UPSC prelims, he barely scored 60 marks. These institutes falsely inflate your confidence just to justify their insane 1 lakh rupee fees. And when confronted with the actual results, they completely wash their hands of any responsibility, leaving aspirants crushed and questioning their own worth.
Working as a software developer, he suddenly came to a massive, game-changing realization. Paying those exorbitant fees for lectures and study material is nothing but a trap. Almost everything these institutes hide behind a 1 lakh rupee paywall is literally available for free on the internet. By utilizing properly structured Telegram groups and modern AI tools, you simply do not need to surrender your hard-earned money to these predatory businesses anymore. There is a better way.
Section 5. Let's crack this together.
2. That is the number of attempts he has left, 2027 and 2028. And look, despite 4 agonizing previous failures, despite those crushing 6-hour daily commutes, and despite the absolute terror of potentially failing all over again, quitting is simply not an option. It's just not on the table. Because at the end of the day, he has a promise to keep to his father.
But instead of doing it all alone in the dark, he's actively building a genuine, no-nonsense community specifically for working professionals. No fake, hyped-up promises, no ridiculous expensive fees. He is actually using his tech background to unclutter those messy Telegram groups, to share clear, structured daily checklists, and to carefully curate the best free materials out there. The whole goal here is to connect real people who are fighting the exact same battles, managing demanding jobs, complex family dynamics, and exhausting commutes, so they can finally solve these real-world issues together as a team. Which leaves us with just one final lingering question. Are you ready to stop fighting this brutal battle alone? If you are a working professional grinding through the daily exhaustion, the crushing isolation, and the heavy weight of your family's expectations, consider this explainer your official invitation. The big shiny coaching centers aren't going to save you, but a real, grounded community just might. Think about it. Let's crack this thing together.